Well, good morning, my friends. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Behind the Mic with me, Mike Avery, here in the Outdoor Magazine radio studio. Kind of a nasty day, huh? Compared to what it was earlier in the week, at least that's for sure. I will admit, this one kind of caught me by surprise. I was just sitting here in the studio talking to John, switching around a spot, eating some Mike Avery Hunter Sticks from Michigan brand, looking at the new Lions mini movie. Now I'm picking Hunter Sticks out of my teeth. But this is a live look behind the scenes, right? So it is what it is. Hey, Cliff, good morning. Hey, Johnny. You snuck in here after all, didn't you? Johnny, thank you again for your generosity on our Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner and Auction, for your contributions, for your donations. I look forward to seeing you and Heidi Saturday night. Good morning, Bruce. How are you? All right, Craig. Have fun in your stupid meeting. Thank you also, Craig, for your generosity and your donations. And I look forward to seeing you and Michelle Saturday night at our Trinity Monitor dinner. Uncle Johnny, my brother from another mother. How you doing, buddy? I look forward to seeing you and your beautiful bride at our Trinity Monitor dinner. Wild Game Dinner and Auction Saturday night. Johnny, look what I got. Mike Avery Hunter Sticks from Michigan brand. One of our live auction items is Michigan brand products for a year. The silent auction, by the way, will kick off tonight as I have Deidre Hurley, who is the grand poobah of our dinner. She'll be announcing the kickoff. That'll start tonight. Brian, good morning. Will there be Hunter Sticks at the dinner? I'll bring some, Johnny. I'll make myself a note to bring some. And there will be good food, and there will be good fellowship, and there will be beer, Johnny. There will be beer. After all, it is a Lutheran event. There will be beer. It's kind of a prerequisite. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. What a change in the weather, huh? What is this, a 40 degrees swing or whatever? Did that go in, John? No problem. That spot? Okay, thank you. I was on the water Monday with Captain Mark Pananzak of Real Fishing. By the way, Mark donated a trip for our dinner as well, a trip for 3 anglers on the Detroit River. And also, I had forgotten about this, and I apologize. Mike Hampton of Mike's Tire Sales bought a trip with Mark Pananzak and donated it to our event. And Mike, I completely forgot about that in the rush of everything else. So thank you, Mike Hampton of Mike's Tire Sales. That item is on the silent auction, which goes live tonight. Johnny Bowler says, can't wait to see Uncle Johnny also. Hey, good morning, Tim. How are you? Tim, I think you and Jen are joining us for our next Wednesday night live at the Lumberjack, and that is Wednesday, the 20th of March. You can now get your tickets. 989-343-0892, 989-343-0892. Not tickets, reserve your seats, to reserve your spots. 989-343-0892 to reserve your spots at the next Wednesday night live at the Lumberjack restaurant. Martin, good morning. How are you? 70 degrees yesterday, now 29 degrees in Bay City. Crazy, isn't it? Morning, Dave. Tim says they already have reservations. I should know better than to try to get ahead of the Binses, because you're not going to, because they're on top of things. So tomorrow is the kickoff of March, correct? No, is that Thursday? Friday, March kicks off. Kevin says, good morning, Mike. I golfed yesterday and no, they're not open yet. Kevin's the superintendent of the West Branch Country Club, where we are having our first, what I suppose will be an annual event, Mike Avery Outdoors. I don't know if it's a Mike Avery Outdoors or if it's an outdoor magazine golf outing. That's Monday, July 29th at the West Branch Country Club. Put that on your calendar, but too early to call to become a part of that at all. Unless you want to be a sponsor, then get a hold of me, Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com, Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com. So Friday is the first day of March. Is March going to come in like a lion or like a lamb? Jen says we'll be there. One of the highlights of our month. Well, thank you, Jen. It's one of the highlights of my month to see you guys. Always a pleasure. You are, you're some of the good people. The Binns family, good people. But I have been blessed in my career to work with good people, including this guy right here, Scott Hand. He said, hell hath frozen over. Avery on the bay in February in skinny water in a boat. And man, did it feel good, Scott. Man, did it feel good. My angler quest is still in shrink wrap, under shrink wrap at Linwood Beach Marina. But what I did was I actually hired Captain Mark Pananzak. I said, Mark, I'm jonesing to get on the water. I said, I want to do a skinny water trip. I said, actually, I want to do a half-day trip. It turned into more than a half day, right? You know how it is when you get on the water and you start shooting the breeze and smoking cigars and telling stories, and a 4-hour trip turns into a 6. Scott, you know how that goes, right? Anyway, yes, I was out there with Mark Pananzak. We did troll my skinny water, the same water that Art Lewis and I trolled. Art, you want to come in and say hi? People look forward to seeing you. The man, the myth, the legend, right here. Art Lewis of
and the fisherman too.
And the fisherman. He will be at our Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner and Auction Saturday night, right?
I will be.
Excellent.
Yes, indeed.
And maybe even our Wednesday night live.
Yep, probably will.
And what about our golf outing in West Branch?
Working on it.
All right, see? This guy's like my brother from another mother right here.
Yeah, we're twins.
We're
Same
twins.
height and everything.
Yeah, we look a lot alike. Yeah. Thank you, Art. Always a pleasure. You can hear Art on WSGW AM and FM. He's an icon in the broad, and he's a member of the Michigan Broadcasting Hall of Fame. I guess I knew that and forgot, but that's a big deal, Art. Nice job. Anyway, Scott, going back to your comment. Yes, trolled the skinny water on February 25th. It was beautiful. It was flat. Fishing with Mark Pananzak. Man, we got one fish in the skinny water. I mean, in the skinny water that I fish all summer long. We got another bite, but it didn't hook up. But it was great to be out there. Then I said, hey, let's go up the river and do some jigging, because I love to jig. We went up the river and caught a few fish there. I think only 2 keeper walleye and 1 jumbo perch Mark got. But it reminded me of just how bad I am at jigging. I used to be pretty good at jigging, but I think I've lost my touch. But nothing that can't be cured with getting out there more. Okay, let's go back. Anyway, Scott, thank you, Scott, for your donation, your contribution of a does-only youth hunt for our Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner and Auction. That is in the silent auction, which goes live tonight. Deidre Hurley, the grand poobah of the event, will join me tonight at 7 o'clock for Wednesday Night Live to announce the kickoff of the silent auction. One of the items you can bid on, a does-only youth hunt at the Hand Family Farm in Montcalm County. So, Scott, I appreciate that very much. Jen, that's nice of you to say. Kevin, did you put in for an early season turkey tag or over-the-counter month of May? I didn't want to screw around, so I just bought ZZ. I bought ZZ, which is basically a 6-week season, so I'm good to go. Tim says marinas will be opening early this year for sure. Hey, Ashley, how are you? Randy, good morning. Jerry, always a pleasure. Jeff checking in from sunny Fort Myers, rubbing it in. Judy, how are you? Hey, Jim, I saw mine too. Jim says, he said, good morning, Mike. Saw first 2 red-winged blackbirds Sunday morning. I did as well. And that's always nice to see. Patrick, good morning. Jason, my Trinity brother, how are you? Jason, I think I asked you this before, but you guys are going to be at the Trinity. No, I think you had something else this year for the Trinity event. Okay, what else is on my list? March kicks off in a couple of days. I did see my first red-winged blackbirds. I've been hearing them, trying to hear them, like hearing that call. I couldn't hear them. I looked out the back window and there's one sitting in the tree in the backyard next to the pond. So I'm like, yes. And then the next time I went out, I was hearing the red-winged blackbirds. Yes, indeed, they are back. And why did my nose start running right now all of a sudden? Maybe it's the pepper in these, the Mike Avery Outdoors peppered elk sticks from Michigan brand. One of our live auction items, and you need to be there to bid on it, is a year supply of Michigan brand products, courtesy of Michigan brand meats. This guy right here won't be there, but he figured out a way to bid anyway. Ross Elliott, good morning, buddy. How are you doing? Scott said the ice is gone on his lake. He took a boat ride yesterday. Excellent. Vaughn checking in from Absolute Taxidermy. Where are you, Vaughn? We'll give you a little plug. Where are you? Okay. So I did get out fishing. Monday. We trolled the skinny water, me, Captain Mark Pananzak and myself. And you talk about two old guys. There's two old guys smoking cigars, fishing in February on open water. That's a pretty good day. He likes cigars as much as I do. Taylor, you're in Taylor. All right. Vaughn, well, glad to have you along with us this morning. I appreciate it. I saw something very interesting. Most of the people on the river that day were jigging. Now, I have trolled the Saginaw River quite a bit. I trolled it in the early days. Hey, my key worked, by the way. Thank you. I trolled the Saginaw River real early on in the reestablishment of the walleye fishery because the boat that I had at the time didn't have a bow mount motor and it was an IO, and all I could do was troll. So I used to troll that river quite a bit for walleye. I still troll it in the summertime on blow days when we can't get on the bay. I'll make a couple of swipes up the river and sometimes catch fish. While I was out there, I saw a boat of guys trolling the river for pike. And as I watched them, they landed two fish pushing 40 inches. So I watched them some more. Those guys discovered something very interesting, that you can troll that river right now and catch big, big pike. In fact, I've got them on the radio show this week to talk about it. How'd we do, Scott? We got, I think we only got 3 keeper walleye, a bunch of shorts, and a jumbo perch, but we had a good day. Hey, Martin, how are you? Robert checking in from the Eastern UP. What's it look like up there this morning, Robert? Paul, I came up to fish the bay today. Bad choice. Should have hit it yesterday, heading back to Florida later this week. Yeah, you didn't hit the weather very good, did you, Paul? A few days earlier would have made a difference. Steve, good morning. How are you? I was fishing. Steve, I was out on the open water Monday. We trolled the skinny water and we fished the river as well. It's nasty up there. It's nasty down here too. It's amazing. It's hard to believe how much the weather has changed in 24 hours. And I've been kind of achy, a little bit sore yesterday. I thought, why is this? And I said, well, is it because I was on the water for the first time in months? You know, kind of fighting that, you know, you feel that because no, I think it's the change in weather that was coming, and I didn't equate those two. Jason checking in from the Ford Dearborn Truck Plant. Tornado in Grand Blanc today. Didn't know that. February tornado. Mother Nature does not know what's going on. Okay, a couple more things. Oh, next Tuesday. What is the 5th? Tuesday is Fred Bear's birthday. Hello, Gabe. Gabe's jonesing to get out on the big water of Lake Michigan. Big pike. I'm telling you, these guys have it dialed in. 14 degrees and 25 knot winds. What's up, bro? What's up with you, Andrew? I've been out on the Andrew, you're gonna love this. I was out on the open water in the Great Lakes Bay region Monday fishing. Mississippi pig hunt, Spencer. That sounds like a riot. Spencer, I'll never forget the story of you taking that bear after working so hard, that Michigan bear. That was a heck of a story. You're a pretty dedicated guy. Good morning, Brian. Flu's going around. I don't think that's why my nose is running. I know, Andrew. I know. I probably did get a little sun out there that day. I don't doubt it. Hey, good morning, Corey. How are you? Corey, I was on the water Monday. Didn't catch a lot of fish, but had a great time. Have you been out? How have you been doing? Big female pike pre-staging for the spawn. That's what these guys were into. I'm telling you. And they're actually Captain Brandon Corthall of Buckwild Charters. He actually keeps his boat right in where I do in the summertime. I've driven by him many times. They've got these big pre-spawn pike dialed in. It was amazing. Doing good. Be out again Friday. Yeah, you don't want to be out there today or tomorrow, do you? Or yesterday. Sorry. Nose just started running. As I watched them, they got my attention because it's a very cool looking boat. Okay, this is behind the scenes, right? Did I duck out of the shot? Not really. Sorry about that. Andrew says best pike fishing right now is on the Grand. Morning, Mickey. Morning, Charles. As I watched them, one board went back. Boom. They were running offshore boards. Then a second board went back. Boom. And so we slowed down because Mark knew these guys. Slowed down and watched them. And I watched them land 2 fish pushing 40 inches. And I know they were into them. Wind is bad for Friday. Nice, Bill. He fished Upper Michigan last weekend. Always impressed by the kindness of the locals. Jen says, I'm going to have to either change the resolution on my screen or start wearing these. And I don't want to start wearing these. Let me see. These are just cheaters, but I display. Can I make it any bigger? I think it's like as big as I can make it. At home, I've got 2 huge monitors. That's how I see things. I will ask her, Jen, if she needs any goat milk soap. Cool. Ross says information. You'll be in the river, Corey. Gotcha. Information is the Michigan Walleye Tour. Is that open to the bay or is that strictly a river tournament, Corey? Ross Elliott, information on the online auction, please. Well, Ross, because you joined us late and you missed my opening comments, I will forgive your lack of paying attention to what I'm saying. The online auction goes live tonight at 7:00 as your good friend, Deidre Hurley, the Grand Poobah of the event, joins me live at 7:00 tonight for Wednesday Night Live. And we'll announce the kickoff then. So tonight, Ross, 7:00. You made it on time. Not quite. Matt Shaw, good morning. I need to thank Matt. Look what I brought, Charlie. These Michigan brand Mike Avery Hunter Sticks and those homemade chocolate chip cookies by Miss Denise. They're so good. I need to do some thank yous. June is all great. Morning, Kevin. How are you? Okay, so it's a river tournament. One.bidpal.net. One.bid. And I always get there by the number one. The word one. one.bidpal.net. Some people I have to thank for helping out on our Trinity Monitor dinner. Linwood Beach Marina, Linwood Taxidermy, Mike Hampton of Mike's Tire Sales in Caucaulin, Michigan Brand Meats, Matt Schock, Johnny Bowler, Craig Plowman, Doug Ward, Captain Mark Pananzak, Captain Paul Schlafly, Gary Morgan of Wild Game Dynasty, Schwab Farms, Scott Hand of Hand Farms, and those are just a few. Man, I want my nose to quit running. Hello, Mike. How are you? We will do that, Jen, you as well. There's the man himself, Captain Mark Pananzak of Real Fishing. I was just talking about you, Mark, about the day we had in the water. Fishing wasn't great, but the day was great. And you and I talked about this. Fishing is an experience. It's not a harvest. A harvest is a bonus. And we had a great experience on the water that day. Mark, I want to thank you for donating a trip for our Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner and Auction. I also need to thank again Mike Hampton of Mike's Tire Sales for buying a trip from you that he then donated to our event. So it was great. It was great. Thanks for getting me out, Mark. I appreciate it. Hey, Mike, how are you? Gotcha, Corey. I understand. Okay, so in the studio today, Michigan Brand Meats. These are the Mike Avery Hunter Sticks. We were eating these and smoking cigars on the water that day with Captain Mark Pananzak. We got a nice solid fish in Skinny Water, my beloved Skinny Water. Went up the river. Mark gave me a lesson in jigging because I don't jig enough anymore to be any good at it. So I think we caught 2 keepers and a jumbo perch, very nice perch, and a bunch of small fish. How much time, Charlie? 2.5 minutes. I could tell the story of the world in 2.5 minutes. In the beginning, God. No, I can't do it in 2.5 minutes. Okay, our next Wednesday night live. Okay, tonight, Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, the grandpa, Deidre Hurley, joins me to kick off our silent auction on the Trinity Minor Wild Game Dinner and Auction. I know you were plagued, Mark. I know you had to have me with you. By the way, I talked with Brandon, and he's joining me on the show this week, Mark, to talk about what we saw as we were coming up to the ramp. Okay, we're doing another Wednesday night live, Wednesday, March 20th at the Lumberjack Restaurant in West Branch. Call for reservations, 989-343-0892, 989-343-0892. We're going to have we're going to have a golf outing Monday, July 29th at the West Branch Country Club in West Branch. Too early to sign up for that, though. My website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. That's MikeAveryOutdoors.com. My email address is Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Scott says fishing was bad. Was it the captain of the cabin? Cabin boy. I'm not a cabin boy. I'm not his fishing wench. I'm not his cabin boy. Don't try to lay that on me, Scott. It was a good day, Mark. I appreciate it. My nose started running. Probably COVID. It's probably COVID, and I will be sick Saturday and won't be able to do the Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner and Auction. Wouldn't that be a kick in the teeth?
45 seconds.
Okay, on the show this week, Brandon Korthal talking about trolling the Saginaw River for pike. Then Bob Hines on burbot fishing in northern Michigan. Plus, Ben Nielsen of Showspan talks about their big Grand Rapids show. In the second hour, Captain Pete Patsalis on fishing the St. Clair River, on the process of selling your old boat and buying a new one. Then Rich Krizan of Killer Food Plots. And in our third hour, the host of Michigan Out of Doors TV, Jimmy Gretzinger, and of course, wild game chef extraordinaire, Dixie Dave Miner. Hey, Mike, how have you been? Josh Mapes.
10 seconds.
How you doing, Josh? In 8 seconds, 5 seconds, all right, in 3 seconds, in 2 seconds, in 1 second. Jeez, Charlie. I am working with a slave driver this morning. All I want to do is eat my Mike Avery Hunter Sticks, drink my coffee, and shoot the breeze with you. Charlie Rood walks into the studio, immediately takes charge, starts barking orders, bossing me around, starting the clock, and I have to go to work, if you can call this work. So what's going to happen is I'm going to put these headphones on. I'm going to switch from this microphone to this microphone, and I'm going to record the first segment of this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show. You are welcome to stick around if you want, but I will not be able to directly interact with you. Well, thank you, Ken Hunter, for that introduction, and welcome to another edition of the Outdoor Magazine radio show right here on the Outdoor Magazine radio network on more than 30 radio stations across the great state of Michigan. And so glad to have you along with us. How are you? Did you enjoy that nice weather when it was here? Boy, it was nice there for a while, wasn't it? Mother Nature just doesn't know what she wants to do this year. She's been all over the place. As you are hearing this show, now it is the month of March. Does March come in like a lion or like a lamb this year? And what does that mean for the rest of the late winter, early spring? It just hasn't felt much like winter. It's felt more like spring, hasn't it? The red-winged blackbirds are back at the Avery house on the pond behind the house. I've been waiting to hear him. Didn't hear him. Looked out the back window the other day, and there's a red-winged blackbird sitting in the tree in the backyard next to the pond. Couldn't get a picture of it, but I did. Next time I walked outside, I heard him back there, and I thought, here we go. Skunks have been active. Red-winged blackbirds are back. It's March. But in those last few days of February, I was able to get out on the open water of Saginaw Bay and the Saginaw River. I told you I was jonesing. I said, I got to get out there and go fishing. My angler quest is shrink wrapped at Linwood Beach Marina. What am I going to do? I don't have a riverboat. I don't have a smaller boat. But I have friends and I know people. So I called Captain Mark Pananzak of Real Fishing. I said, Mark, can I book you for a half day charter? Can we do a combo trip? Can we do a skinny water trip trolling and a jigging the Saginaw River trip? Can we do that? Are you available that day? He says, yeah, I'm available. Let's go fishing. And then I say booked him, but later on I tried to pay him and he didn't want to let me pay him. But I did anyway. I think, you know, when these captains, like for charity auctions too, like for our Trinity event, keep in mind that even if you are getting a donated trip, there's still time involved in this. There's fuel, there's wear and tear on the boat and equipment, and there's the captain's time. So make sure you take care of these people. I mean, they love to fish, but it's also their job, right? So take care of them. Anyway, we went out of the launch at the mouth of the Saginaw River and turned left out into the bay and didn't go far. And we fished the same skinny water that I fished in the summertime. But it was February. And it wasn't that bad. It was chilly, but it wasn't bitter. And we hit a window of opportunity where the wind wasn't bad. The conditions were beautiful. So we put out bandits behind offshore boards, 10 feet behind the boards. This is the style of fishing that I love, but I usually don't get to do it until the summertime. Why do I love this type of fishing? Because number one, I like trolling. I like trolling skinny water. I like running baits close to the boards. And I found out I like trolling this time of year because there are no weeds out there. There's no junk. There's no anything else. It's just clean water and fish. And we had a great time. Now, we did only get one nice fish in that skinny water. We got one other bite, didn't hook up. But this was about Mark says it's a 4-pound fish. Great big belly on it, big pre-spawn fish. Captain Mark says it's a 4-pound fish. I said, you know, by the time I tell this story on the air, it's probably going to be an 8-pound fish. Well, there's a picture of it online, so I can't call it an 8-pound fish, but it was a good solid fish. So we trolled out there for a while and said, you know, I said, Mark, I really want to get up the river and do some jigging. He said, let's go. So we go up the river along with a couple of hundred other boats because, again, it was a beautiful day. It was warm. There was a little bit of wind. The wind started to pick up, and that was fighting our drift, but still, it was great. I love to jig. I love my trolling, but I like jigging. There's something about having that rod in your hand when a fish hits. But what I was reminded while fishing that day with Mark is that I don't jig fish enough anymore to be really any good at it. I used to have a pretty good feel. You know, I really had it down. I felt like I had pretty good technique. I could feel every bite. I didn't miss many fish, but I just don't do it enough anymore these days to be really very good at it. So Mark's up in the front of the boat catching fish left and right, and I'm in the back of the boat catching a few fish. Got a lot of small fish, a couple more keepers in the river, and Mark took a jumbo perch up in there as well. But it was just a wonderful, wonderful experience to be out there on the water, trolling, fishing the river, open water in February. Man. So thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. Also, thank you, Mark, for Captain Mark Pananzak for donating a trip for our Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner and Auction, a fundraiser for our church and school. Now, depending on when you hear this radio show, the event may be getting ready to kick off, or it may have already happened. So I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage there, but I feel that it's going to be that it was another successful event. I think God has blessed this event since the beginning. We've been very fortunate. We've had a lot of good people involved. We've had a lot of people who have helped donate to the cause to make this happen. And I want to mention just a few of them here. And if I miss somebody, I'm so sorry because I can't thank everybody. But just people that I directly deal with and people that I directly reached out to. Linwood Beach Marina, thank you. Appreciate that. Linwood Taxidermy, Scott, thank you very much. Mike Hampton of Mike's Tire Sales in Cauquelin. I told you, Mike bought a trip with Captain Pananzak, and then he donated it to the Trinity event. And I had forgotten about this until Mark reminded me on the water. So Mike Hampton, thank you, Mike's Tire Sales. Michigan Brand Meats, Michigan Brand products for a year. How cool is that? Johnny Bowler, the Bear Whisperer, donated hunting and fishing trips. Matt Schock, a predator hunting trip. Thank you. Craig Plowman. Craig is all over this, and he donated so much. We appreciate it. Craig, Captain Doug Ward, a walleye fishing trip on Saginaw Bay up by Au Gres, up in that beautiful, deep, clear, crystal water. Mark Pananzak, I've mentioned. Paul Schlafly of Riverside Charters in Manistee, a salmon fishing trip. Gary Morgan of Wild Game Dynasty, a 3-day guided Michigan turkey hunt. Schwab Farms, a youth hunt. Scott Hand, a youth hunt at his place. It's just been wonderful seeing how people have come together to work for a good cause. And I am and was blessed to be a part of it. So thank you, everybody who helped out on that. Now, we do have a couple of more events coming up. We're going to do another Wednesday night live at the Lumberjack Restaurant in West Branch. That is going to be Wednesday night, March 20th at the Lumberjack. I love the Lumberjack. It's a Forward Corporation Lumberjack restaurant, and it is the perfect venue. Well, especially now that Dixie Dave is retired and he's not in the old Dixie Inn restaurant or his restaurant anymore. Oscar and Joey's, it was called. The Lumberjack is the perfect place to have such an event. Wednesday, March 20th. Call for reservations 989-343-0892. 989-343-0892. One more thing I want to talk about. March 5th. I think that's Tuesday. That would be Fred Bear's birthday. Now, they're having a Fred Bear Day celebration over the weekend in Grayling. But when I saw this, it reminded me that, what an icon he was in Michigan and how fortunate I was to get a chance to meet the guy. So I was going through some old video the other day, and I came across once again I call it, it's on YouTube, the lost, quote, Fred Bear interview. Some people read that as the last interview, and they said, Avery, it wasn't the last interview we ever did. I said, I didn't say it was the last. I said it was the interview that I lost. So I actually found the raw video from that, and there is more B-roll, we call it. There is no more of the interview with Fred. That is all online. I posted every word he said online, but I found some more B-roll that I had not posted online, including watching the guys from Bear Archery shoot a prototype crossbow at the range there at Grouse Haven. So I don't know. Maybe there's some way I can work that into some kind of a video and post that online as well. So coming up on this week's Outdoor Mag. Okay. One thing I didn't mention about our fishing trip. As we were coming up to the ramp, I saw a boat doing something that caught my attention, catching fish that caught my attention. The captain on that boat is Captain Brandon Korthal. We're going to talk with him after the break about an interesting way to fish the Saginaw River for a species you might not think of. Then Bob Hines on burbot fishing in northern Lake Michigan, plus Ben Nielsen of Showspan talks about the Grand Rapids show coming up. In our second hour, Captain Pete Patsalis on fishing the St. Clair River this time of year, plus the process of selling your old boat and buying a new one, then Rich Krizan of Killer Food Plots. And in our third hour, Jimmy Gretzinger, the host of Michigan Outdoors TV, joins us. And of course, wild game chef extraordinaire, Dixie Dave Miner. That's coming up this week on Outdoor Magazine. My name is Mike Avery. The website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. The email address, Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Don't hesitate to reach out. I'd love to hear from you. So glad you're along this week right here on Outdoor Magazine. Man, my nose is driving me crazy. I know I could blow it. Well, I'm stuck here and I don't have it, but I'll go right now. Anyway, my friends, have a good day. Thanks for joining me tonight, 7:00, Wednesday night live. We kick off the Trinity Monitor silent auction. Also, we bring back Ham for the Holidays on Wednesday Night Live. So hopefully we'll see you tonight. In the meantime, have a good day. Try to stay out of the wind. Stay safe. We'll talk to you tonight.